Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosh Customs, and today we'll be looking at the third and final character in the good, the bad, and the ugly, which is the ugly. This is probably the most unique design I've made for this little Hitman trio here, and so I'm excited to dive right in. I hope you guys have been enjoying this, I guess, little mini series essentially of reviews as I've been quickly just dissecting the different builds and what I've sort of the thought process that I've had creatively designing these guys. So I will put the good and the bad off to the side as we look at our final member of the trio. Starting with accessories, we have a nice big shotgun right here, some kind of big blaster. This is from the Marvel Legends cable figure, these from the Sasquatch wave. And so I dry brushed this with some nice gunmetal and some nice chrome. And so you're getting some extra metal weathering and some shine right there. He's also got some nice, really bright neon green. And understand, like, this is, like, the gun is just that. This green is so, so punchy. And so I really, really like it. It's got some nice bright neon green on the little sides, as well as glowing in the barrels. And so he's definitely shooting some really toxic projectiles out. And the camera actually isn't picking it up, but there is some variance in there. There's some little bits of white that I painted in there, and so it has this more swirly energy effect, but with the lighting and everything, it just looks like green highlighter. So I wish it was capturing that detail, but in person you can see it a little bit better. That's his first weapon right there. I also have him using a katana from the G.I. Joe classified series, the Red Ninja, whatever it's called, Cobra Ninja. I don't know. I honestly am not too familiar with all the different G.I. Joe figures. I am buying these specifically for the accessories, and so I had that figure for a while, and so I just took the fodder and put the sword on this guy. I was thinking about painting it silver, but honestly, having it all black almost looks a little bit better for this guy. So I do like the idea of him almost having like a full carbon fiber blade. I think that's pretty cool. Dropping that off to the side, on both hips, he's got these metal stakes, got these bright silver stakes, and these come from Mezco blade figures. And the little holders are also from the blade figures. I imagine he's treating these almost like throwing knives or extra stabbing weapons. So if he runs out of ammo, he's going to start pulling these off his hip and hitting people with them or throwing them. So I think that's a really cool alternative option to have for the ugly. And once again, he's the ugly. I wanted to design him just sort of like, I had a Borderlands Psycho in mind actually as I was designing this guy, and so maybe some of those design elements come through just in his terms of his build and his demeanor. And then lastly, I have this really soft resin casted, I guess sort of shoulder holster piece. This was originally seen with the Nick Fury figure from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 3-pack that came out, I want to say back like 2016 or something like that. So it comes from that pack. But this is casted from Resin Armory, and so I was able to get it from him, and that's great because it's tough to track down those packs these days, especially if you want genuine parts. It's nice because this is resin, so it's actually a little bit stretchier and a little bit more flexible than the original Hasbro piece was. And then for the pistol that he's storing, this is from Hit Girl, the NECA figure, and so it's a little Russian pistol. Not really sure what it's called. I hate that my reference is Rainbow Six Siege, but I believe in Siege this is called a PMM. Might be wrong on that too. But anyways, got a little stubby pistol for him too. So he's got a nice little sidearm that he's holding at all times. So talking about the body now that we're past the accessories, this head is custom designed and printed, and we'll punch in and take a closer look in a second. This rib cage I designed for him is also glued to the upper chest, so he has full articulation, but that is also 3D designed, modeled, and printed by myself. And then the body is on a Mezco Black Skull body. So taking a look at the head here, I wanted something to be just really, really weird with this guy. I feel like the other two helmets for the other two characters feel a lot more, I guess, sort of cyberpunk standard, but I wanted something that felt really skeletal and creepy for this guy. I actually designed the rib cage first. I wanted to make a cool rib cage piece, and so after I designed this, I took the elements of like bone and flesh mixed with metal, and I was like, okay, how do I translate that to a head sculpt? And so as you can see here, we have a very, very skeletal design for the head. You can clearly make out like a jaw, as well as some of those cheekbones, as well as you can see like that skull nose. But then for the front of the face, it's been completely replaced with this big gold visor and these bright green little spider eyes. And so definitely organic mixed with machine. He's also got that little mouth plate right there with some more bright green, and then some essentially breathing filters plugged into the helmet. He's also got a little band-aid up top right there, and that was a fun little detail that I sculpted into the head. I thought that was just kind of cute. And so, even though he's this really menacing looking character, he can still get hit, and he just sort of patched his helmet up with some band-aids. He's also got these little earpieces, and the reason why I want to do that is just it has nothing to do with being actual ears or anything, but just a lot of heads I designed don't feel like they have very many 3D elements, and so it was cool to just have these little flaps coming off the side of the helmet, and I think it just adds to the dimension of the head a little bit more, and you can see some more bright green in there. And then as we come around the back, you can see a lot of extra panel lining and little bolts, nuts and bolts in the head sculpt, and as well as this nice bright gold lining running to the back. And then in the very back of the head, I drilled a hole in and I actually plugged in this nice bendable wire. So it almost looks like he has a ponytail, but it is fully articulated, so I can bend it in a bunch of different ways, and it just makes the posing a lot more dynamic. So I can get a bunch of different head poses. Some really fun little posing options there. So it just makes the character feel a little bit more dynamic and allows me to pull some more movement out of the design for this guy. So I really, really like that. This hose, essentially, or this bendable hose, is pulled from a Baron Benz figure. This was one of the gas tubes that he comes with. And I think this was off his main chest rig. So I pulled it off the chest rig and then drilled into the head and glued it in there. And then I painted the base of it as well as the tip of it here in some more gold. Coming down to the neck here, I also painted that little esophagus section in some gold as well. So just some extra skeletal detailing because I wanted to pick that out on the neck here, as well as some extra little bits of gunmetal dry brushing along the neck just to pick out some of those nice, really sharp, crisp sculpt details. Coming to the chest here, I wanted to give him this feeling of war paint. So you can see he's actually got this black paint that's dripping down over his torso, and you can see it along the arms as well. So I thought it would be really crazy if you realize that, because his body's mostly black, it's not actually, it's not just him being weird, but he's, or it's not me being lazy with the body, essentially, because the Black Skull body is in cast black plastic. So I actually sprayed it with a matte varnish so that it muted the shininess of the plastic a little bit more. And then I sanded the upper bit and the lower part of the torso so that there'd be no paint rub on here. And then I painted the lower forearms as well as the lower bit of the torso skin tone. And then I painted the sort of that paint dripping, or maybe it's some dark oil or something. He's poured himself in some really gross diesel. But whatever it is, it's dripping down his torso right there. And so with that, since he's already got this sort of body paint on, he's also painted some gold bones onto himself. So he's got some gold bones here, as well as you can see those collarbones are picked out, and that's very fitting with this little rib cage plating that he has over his chest, as well as, once again, another gold arm bone running down the side. And then, because he's got this leather gauntlet on his left side, he also has painted a gold bone over that leather forearm piece. Coming down to, oh, I should say I also did sculpt little glove ends on his wrists on both sides. So that just helps differentiate between the skin and where the hand starts, and it's better than the hand starting at a black ball joint because that would just make no sense for the design. So I sculpted those little glove cuffs right there. Coming down to the lower torso here, I should talk about this vest first. This is from a John Wick figure, a Mezco John Wick figure. I had it sitting around, floating around in my fodder bin, and so just recycled it so that he has a little bit of clothing on. And I can take all of this off, but it's kind of nice. It's got a weird, once again, Borderlands Psycho, Mad Max. He's just got the most minimal amount of clothing for the top. Why he's even wearing it, who knows? But once again, it does definitely add to a little bit of a fashion icon right here. It's sort of like how on, Fashion Week or on Runway, you get all the people who just, like the male models who are just kind of like wearing a see-through shirt or something for no reason. It's just made of plastic or something. So I feel like this vest sort of gives off that vibe too. So once again, just being able to get funky with cyberpunk fashion. So he's just got this little vest on. The belt here got some nice straps that are coming down to the stakes or the little stake holders on his hips. And then a nice gold clasp right there. Some more gold highlights and some silver highlights along these little straps that are holding his big metal stakes. And then moving down, he's got these lower pouches right here. These are from the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Classified figure, and I painted the little buckle pieces in some nice gold. So he's got some consistent gold pieces running throughout the figure. And then I decided not to actually do anything with the boots. I felt like this gold bit right here, as well as the gold coming down the legs, adds just enough color to the figure without overdoing it. All the other characters had some some highlights on the boots, and so I decided just to leave these plain, and I think that fits his design a little bit more. Just having all his cloth pieces be primarily black, and then having the accents coming into the metal bits instead of the accents being built into the actual fabric parts or, faux fabric parts in terms of the boots. So I decided to run it that way. In terms of the bone design, once again going with that more humanoid look, but I was inspired to paint the arms as well as the brace, just from more of those depictions of like voodoo witch doctor type designs. Just that idea of them, painting or tattooing bones onto themselves. I figured like him painting it in, some kind of synthetic gold is pretty cool. And that also helps just fit with the overall look of the character. And so, once again, this guy is the Ugly, and he definitely has a really outlandish design to fit his name. Once again, I wanted him to feel like the crazy one of the group here, and I definitely think that this outfit gets that point across super, super well. So let me pose him up real quick, and then we'll get the rest of his Hitman brothers out here. There we go. We got him looking pretty gnarly. And unfortunately, I just realized, sorry, as he drops, I do have an alternate head for him. I forgot about this. It's sitting here on my desk. I took a black skull head, and if you guys know, the black skull is just, well, a cast black skull with some, like, trans green eyes. I decided to paint it all pink. So I dry brushed with a couple different layers of pink, and so it kind of matches his skin tone just a little bit. And then I painted the eyes gold and the teeth gold. So he's got a really cool grill on this mask as well. And once again, for the Ugly, he just looks crazy. Get him looking up, get him looking to the side there. So another really, really cool option for this character is this oversized skull that he gets to wear. So I really like both. I don't know which one's my favorite. I think in terms of like crazy style points, I like this head more. In terms of a really technical design, maybe. I don't know what to really call this, but I think this fits the cyberpunk aesthetic more. This fits the crazy look a little bit more. His little bobblehead skull. So with that little showcase out of the way, let me plug this head back on here, and then let me pull the rest of his teammates out. Once again, we have the bad and we have the good right there. So that brings me to the conclusion of my full set of this team. I think they all look just absolutely great together. Very, very distinct and different designs on all three of them. And so I think as individuals, they hold their own in terms of their independent designs, but then together, you know, with those matching gold domes across all three, they also share some, I guess, continuity or some similarities with each other. And so I'm really, really happy with how all three of these turned out. I think they all look great, and I'm just very proud and very happy with how they turned out, especially in terms of modeling the rib cage for the ugly and the helmets for both of these two guys over here. Really just exciting stuff. And so I appreciate everyone who has watched all three parts of these reviews. Thank you for all your support as always. If you're new to the channel, please drop a like or a subscribe. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. I really, really do. I read all the comments. And if you want to see more of what I'm working on currently, I'd say please check out my Instagram. I post stories of all my work in progress. You can see when I'm taking commissions or what commissions I'm working on, as well as my meme Mondays, which are honestly a highlight of my week. I just post a meme on Monday, as the name says. So if you're into memes and you're into customs, please check out the page. It's definitely where you can see a lot more of what I'm doing compared to YouTube. So with all that out of the way, once again, thank you so much for checking these videos out. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and I will catch you later.